Let's dive into a question that, let's be honest, probably keeps a lot of us up at night. Are we in charge of our lives? Or is it all just part of some grand, pre-written script? Today, we're going to explore this through the lens of Vedic astrology, also known as Jyotish, and its deep, deep connection to the law of karma. You know that feeling, right? When something amazing happens out of the blue, or a setback just completely blindsides you, and you can't help but wonder, was that me? Or was that fate? Are we actually writing our own stories, or are we just flipping through the pages of a book that's already finished? So, at the very heart of this ancient philosophy is this incredible, mind-bending paradox. The first part is super empowering. It basically says that what you do right now, your choices, your hard work, that's the clay you're using to shape your own future. The power is all yours. But then, just when you think you've got it figured out, the whole thing flips. The philosophy also says that your destiny, the path that's already there, is actually what pushes you to take the actions you do. So, which one is it? How can you be the sculptor and the stone at the same time? Well, that's the cosmic puzzle we're here to unpack. So why do we, as humans, turn to things like astrology in the first place? It really comes down to a fundamental need. When life feels random and chaotic, we're wired to look for a pattern, some kind of map to help us navigate the madness. And this quote just says it all. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a CEO or you're just starting out. Everyone hits these moments where life throws things at you that just don't make any sense. And that's when we start looking for a different way to see things, to understand the why behind what's happening to us. Okay, so let's get one thing straight. When we talk about Vedic astrology, or Jyotish, you have to completely erase any idea of a simple newspaper horoscope. That's not what this is. We're talking about a profound field of study, seen as a complex science that takes unbelievable dedication to master. You can think of learning Jyotish like climbing a massive ladder. It starts with the basics, the punchang, which is the calendar. Then you move up to learning foundational horoscopes. From there, it gets really intense, like a college-level deep dive into complex texts. But it doesn't stop there. You've got a PhD level with even more advanced teachings. And at the very, very top is something called Nadi astrology, which is so detailed it's almost unbelievable. Seriously, this is a lifelong journey. And if you think I'm exaggerating, get this. The great philosopher Adi Shankaracharya once said that a single lifetime isn't even enough to properly debate the subject, let alone master it. That really tells you why the true masters of Jyotish are so few and far between, and so deeply respected. All right, so if Jyotish is the map of our lives, what exactly is the landscape it's showing us? Well, that landscape is karma. The simplest way to think about it is that karma is the engine driving our destiny, the universal law of cause and effect. And to read the map, you first have to understand how the engine works. Let's break it into 3 categories. First up, you have Kriyaman karma. This is your real-time karma. It's every thought, word, and action you're taking right now. This is the zone where your free will is in the driver's seat, actively creating your future. Second, there's Sanchita karma. Picture a giant cosmic warehouse. Inside that warehouse is the grand total of every single thing you've ever done in all your past lives. It's a massive stockpile of karmic seeds, both good and bad, all just sitting there, waiting for the right moment to sprout. And finally, we get to Prarabdha karma. Now this one is the game changer. Out of that massive warehouse of past actions, a specific batch is chosen and assigned to you for this lifetime. This is what we call destiny. It's the set of experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly, that are ready to happen now. And there's no getting out of it. This raises a big question, though. Why don't we see the results of our actions immediately? Well, here's a great analogy. Some karmas are like a banana tree. They bear fruit really quickly, maybe within a year. But other karmas, they're like a mango tree. You might have to wait 20 years or even longer to see the fruit. The consequence is coming, for sure, but the timing, that's a whole other story. There's this incredibly powerful story from the Mahabharata that illustrates this perfectly. The great warrior Bhishma is lying on a bed of arrows, dying a slow, painful death. And in his agony, he asks Lord Krishna this profound question. He says, I can remember my last 100 lives, and in every single one, I was a good person. So what on earth did I do to deserve this? And Krishna's answer is just, wow. He tells Bhishma that the cause of all this suffering, it's not in any of the 100 lives he remembers. The seed for this pain was planted way, way back in his 101st life. You see, in that life, as a young man, Bhishma had carelessly thrown a snake onto a bush of thorns, where it died a terrible death. So why did it take more than 100 lifetimes for that karma to catch up with him? Krishna explained that all the good deeds Bhishma did in those next 100 lives acted like a powerful shield, constantly pushing back the consequence. But a shield can't last forever. So what finally broke it? What allowed that ancient karma to finally burst through? It wasn't something he did. It was something he didn't do. In his current life, he stood by and did nothing while a terrible injustice happened. And that silence, that failure to act, it created a crack in his shield. It was the opening that old karma had been waiting for all along. So as you can see, karma is unbelievably complex, which brings us to the true role of an astrologer. It's not about being a psychic or doing magic tricks. A real, genuine guide is more like an interpreter, someone who can help you read the incredibly complicated map of your own karmic patterns. Vedic philosophy actually gives us a framework for this, using a beautiful river analogy. Life has 4 main goals. On one bank of the river, you have dharma, which is your duty or purpose. On the other bank, you have moksha, or salvation. And the river flowing in between is your pursuit of artha, wealth and resources, and kama, desire and pleasure. The whole idea is to enjoy the river of life, but without crashing into the banks of either duty or liberation. And this leads to a super important point, the massive difference between an ethical guide and a misguided one. A true guide wants to help you see the patterns in your life. They don't make scary, definitive predictions. But a dangerous advisor, someone with just a little half-knowledge, can do real damage, like telling someone to wear a diamond ring that actually makes their negative traits even worse. A good guide empowers you. A bad one tries to control you with fear. One holds up a mirror, the other thinks they're a god. So, when you put it all together, what's the big takeaway? This isn't about just throwing your hands up and surrendering to some unchangeable fate. No. The real point of understanding all this is to start an incredible journey of self-realization. Which brings us to the most important metaphor of all. The horoscope is a mirror. It is not a crystal ball that shows you a future set in stone. It's a reflection of you, your karmic DNA, your natural tendencies, your strengths, and yes, your challenges. It's not a prison sentence. It's a tool for becoming more self-aware. And that brings us right back to that paradox we started with. The image you see in the mirror, that's your destiny, shaped by your past. But the choice to actually look in that mirror, to truly understand what you see, that is your action, right now creating a brand new destiny of awareness. So the final question isn't for me, it's for you. How long will you run away from your picture?